Yo, check this out. Before I let the video start, and before anybody crucifies me or anything like that, I'm not disappointed with the game. I guess disappointed throughout the video was the wrong word for me. Even for me, looking back at while I'm editing the video, disappointed was the wrong word. I'm not disappointed in anything Capcom does for Devil May Cry. It's just something I would have liked to see. So there you go. Enjoy. Look, let me tell you something, man. I love Capcom for giving me one of my my top 5 favorite video game series of all time, and that's hands down for me. There is nothing else that could even move this video game out of the top 5 favorite video game series of all time for me, or top 5 favorite video games, period. I mean, Devil May Cry is it just touches my soul, and I think the reason it does is because Devil May Cry 1 was like my introduction to the new world of video games. It was like the very first game I played. I remember my brother had a PlayStation 2, and the very first game I ever played on that PlayStation 2 was Devil May Cry 1, and it was phenomenal to me. Now the first one, of course, no doubt, after you make the first one, they only get better from there. And of course the game was made like chronologically out of order. So then you get part 2, which was sort of like Devil May Cry 2 was the black hole of the series. Like it just wasn't that good. Devil May Cry 3, it was engaging, it was witty. Dante was comical. He was this lively demon killer. Like I said that back to back, but it's like demon killer. So that was for all my people who aren't good with punctuation. But Devil May Cry 3 was fantastic. You fight this big ice dog with 3 heads. You get these nunchucks. You fight these 2 ice and wind monsters. You get 2 swords that help you actually wield the power of ice and wind. You fight a vampire witch bitch that actually gives you the ability to fly, and it lets you like summon little bats and send them out at the enemies, and it's like the shockwave that actually bursts the demons. And Devil May Cry 3 was great. It was fantastic, and it also delved a little bit more into the situation with he and his twin brother, which we had no idea about until part 3. Of course, unless you read the comic books before playing the video game, which was not the order for me. I played the video game first, and then I heard about the comic book. So I got all the way up to Devil May Cry 3 first. I didn't even know that there was a comic book. So I was lost in the abyss in terms of having the legit information for everything Devil May Cry. Then Devil May Cry 4 drops, and I'm like, holy shit, who's this kid with this blue arm and this demon that so ridiculously resembles Virgil's Devil Trigger from part 3. And come to find out, Nero is supposed to be one of the offsprings of Virgil, and I say one of because we don't know if this new guy V from Devil May Cry 5 is actually one of Virgil's offsprings. I would have liked for one of these kids to be Dante's offsprings, but no. Dante, he was too busy to bump uglies or engage in coitus. So he now as far as we know, as Capcom's working on this, I mean, it's probably pretty much done. It comes out in March. It's like March 8th of 2019. So we got a little bit under 4 months left for Devil May Cry 5. Dude, I'm so excited now that I actually just recognize how much time is left for this game to come out. But I'm excited about Devil May Cry 5. The one disappointment I had was that, I say disappointment because usually when there's something as big as what I'm about to mention in a video game, they'll show it in the trailer. Or it's been many a demos at this point. We would have seen it by now. And I said that because there are a lot of analysts for these the trailers. I don't analyze them as deep as most people do, and ever so often you'll get an actual reaction out of me. I don't do live reactions completely, but most of the times I do. But the only reason I don't is because usually when I'm surfing social media, I'll see the trailer accidentally and it immediately engages me if it's a video game that I'm interested in. So it's never, most of the time it's not a live reaction. It's just like I have to find out that there is some type of video for a video game and it can't be any video to it, or I'll watch it. So generally we probably won't do live reactions that much. I think the first time I did a live reaction or a reaction to the Devil May Cry 5 game, that one was live. And I did another one to Dying Light 2. Those two were live reactions. But, I mean, yeah, it usually, if there's a system change, a huge system change, they'll show it. Just like they pretty much exposed the fact that there can be more than one character fighting at a time. Because if you guys go back and watch my previous Devil May Cry 5 reaction video where I'm actually analyzing it and dissecting it, you'll see that I actually noticed that Nero and V are fighting at the same time. So it's either a multiplayer online thing, or there's a system to where, if you guys remember how Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was, it's almost like when you tag in, that character is still doing their combo, but the character that you tagged in, you're now in complete control of. It could be something like that, or it could just be a character switch system where they're following you around, you press R3, and then you're able to fight with V. So the multiplayer speculation is up in the air. The one thing that I was disappointed with, and this is what I've pretty much been alluding to, is the fact that they didn't give us the ability to actually access Dante's previous devil arms. So I haven't seen anything that points to Agni and Rudra being accessible. Cerberus, Nevan, Beowulf, he's got fire gauntlets from part 1. He's got, he's got the it's pretty much like an all-over gauntlet from part 4, where he defeats the plant lady and he gets arm gauntlets, he gets leg gauntlets, and he's got like this ninja mask over his face. I can't remember the name of that actual weapon. I'll try to remember to post a visual of it so you guys can remember what I'm talking about. But I want to be able to access these many different weapons that Dante has. He was able to throw fireballs in part 1. He was able to fly in part 1. He was able to like send electricity from part 3 with Nevan. He was able to, like, he just had so many different abilities. He could conjure up a fire windstorm with Agni and Rudra. Those are my two. The reason I speak about Agni and Rudra so much is because Agni and Rudra were my favorite devil arms in Devil May Cry series, in the Devil May Cry series, period. They were flashy. It was a nice little narrative with them. From, when you defeat Agni and Rudra in the story mode, they say, "Let us come with you. You have been the only warrior that has been able to defeat us." And Dante's like, "You can come, but under one condition: no talking." And then, as you perform a specific combo while in the game, they'll start making noise, and Dante will finish it off, and he'll say, "Silence." Like that type of stuff, to me, really speaks volume. It speaks to the character development, even the weapon development, if that makes any sense, because these weapons that Dante that he was acquiring, they were actual beings, so it just speaks to the character development, the weapon development, the narration of it. It was fantastic, and I want to be able to access those weapons from games past, but it doesn't seem like Capcom heard my cries in regards to actually. The reason that this is a big thing for me, even Lucifer from, I actually don't like saying that name, but even Lucifer from Devil May Cry 4, where he can like send out these pins where they're kind of like energy pins, and after so many, you press a button and he'll snap his finger and they'll explode the enemy. Like, those were good weapons. And the thing about this is, the reason I want to see these weapons return, to see a system that allows Dante to actually access previous weapons past, is because each weapon had a special unique ability that I would like to see return. Once again, as I spoke about Lucifer just a couple of seconds ago, how he's able to snap his fingers and make the enemy explode. If he had the Beowulf gauntlets from Devil May Cry 3, I believe. Yeah, it was Devil May Cry 3. He can send out balls of light. He can actually charge it up, send out balls of light. He can punch the ground and create this eruption of light that would, cause this particular amount of damage. He could, from part 1, he had fire gauntlets where he can send out fireballs with his fist continuously if you rapidly press the button. He just had so many different abilities. Agni and Rudra, were one of my favorites. Well, they were my favorite devil arm that I've ever seen Dante acquire in the entire series. It's like the best of both worlds when it comes to nature. He's able to control wind. There was a combo actually where he'd swing the swords and he'd stab them in the ground, and it'd send out a stream of wind and fire up into the enemy. And once again, he had a move where he could spin the swords above his head and create a fire and wind tornado. There was also another move where within that same combo where he's creating that fire and wind tornado, he'd jump in the air and create almost a fan motion with Agni and Rudra while he's angled down at the enemy, like almost sort of floating in the air. It just disappoints me that we never get to see the weapons of games past. I want to see Agni and Rudra return. Like, I know he's not disposing of these weapons. Even Sparta, I'm not entirely sure why in the fuck he gave the sword to Trish. Like, Trish is the primary wielder of the weapon Sparta. It makes no sense to me. This is a sword that your dad, the ultimate demon hunter, wielded. You should be using this sword. I am not entirely sure why Trish was wielding the sword in Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. It made no sense to me. Because if you guys don't remember, after Dante acquired Sparta in Devil May Cry 3, his transformation was completely different. He actually looked exactly like his dad once he goes into his devil trigger, and I thought that was something phenomenal. I thought that was something that I would like that should return. Even from Devil May Cry 3, his devil triggers, the appearance of them were different depending on what weapon you actually had equipped. So if you had Beowulf equipped, it looked different. He had it looked sort of like light energy flowing through his body. If you had Agni and Rudra equipped, he looked different. Navan, he looked different. Cerberus, he looked different. And that is definitely something that I understand, because considering he had different abilities, the appearance should be different. It's just like if one day I'm an ice warrior and the next day I'm a wind warrior, you can believe I'm gonna look a bit different because my abilities have changed. Maybe I'll have wind gauntlets now or something like that. And it's just something that disappointed me a little bit. It's not something that I'm gonna not buy the game over. You can believe Devil May Cry 5, I'm gonna have that, because V looks like he is a force to be reckoned with. I think he's another one of Virgil's sons. I think he's tied in with the Virgil and Nero narrative. We'll have to wait and see, but the guy can make it rain fire. This nigga gonna be dope. So I'm excited to see the game. I'm still waiting for it. March the 8th, 2019. I will be a day one cop. You can believe your boy is getting that the very first day. And I am going to, I hope the Bloody Palace isn't a purchasable DLC. It should just be a free DLC. But we'll wait and see, Capcom. We'll see what you guys are doing. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. Be sure to give the video a like, comment, and you know what else to do. Subscribe if you're new. Help get your boy to 1,000 subscribers. Been straddling at 860 for way too long. Let's make that next move. I need it. No, I'm just joking. It would be cool though to hit 1,000 subscribers. I am patiently waiting. I'm not rushing anything. Everything is a process, and I trust the process. So I'll be waiting for those subscribers who are actually gonna pay attention to the content. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.